Hey y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge, and this is my 100th video. So, because it's my 100th video, and that seems like a big deal to me, I thought I'd do something a little different. I'm going to do a shop tour. Just kind of show you what is in my shop and how big it is, and you will probably be amazed that I'm actually able to earn a living out of this thing. My shop is not very big. We have plans coming up. We got to do a little bit more budgeting, but we have plans to build me a much larger shop, or possibly to buy a commercial building. But in the meantime, I'm operating out of a 2-car garage. So my space is pretty limited, and I have to be pretty inventive in dealing with it. We've also, we've got some regular stuff out here, like one of our chest freezers is out here, and I put stuff on it, and sometimes my wife will get a little upset because she'll need something out of the chest freezer, and I'll have a couple 100 pounds worth of stuff sitting on the lid. But anyway, I'll just kind of start over here in this corner and show you around. This is the area you always see me standing in at the beginning and end of videos, and this is kind of my locker area. These are some big old lockers that a buddy of mine got me from Fort Campbell. They got new lockers, and these were just going to be scrapped, so he got them and brought them to me. Now over there I've got a bunch of bar clamps. That's not all my bar clamps, but I've got several on a rack over there. Those are the ones I use the most. This is also my little welding table is over here, which I'm about to build a larger welding table, but my little one's over here, so I've got those clamps over here. This is where the torch lives, oxyacetylene, and I've got different stuff stored in the lockers, everything from power tools to safety stuff to steel. I've got this set of little lockers here, the little square guys, little individual. I keep regular power tools in there. Of course, got a couple of ladders stacked there and projects that aren't finished. But and a couple of them are my lovely bride's locker. She keeps some of her gardening stuff. We're still working on getting her an area, a shed built outside so she can put all her gardening stuff out there. Here's the axes that I use to process wood. We do burn quite a bit of wood, and so I have axes for using. They're not just for looking at, but I'm not a fan of new made axes. Even there's nothing quality wise wrong with like the Gransford Burks and Husqvarnas and stuff, but just the patterns don't seem to be made to chop what we have around here. Axes that were developed in America might work better on American timber. That's my the way my brain works anyway. And here's that chest freezer I was talking about. But now I do have some axes that at some point I will show y'all. I collect axes that were made in Tennessee, and they're not for using, they're just for looking at. So, but I'll at some point show you those. Those are kind of neat. Currently pitifully a small welding table. Now underneath it here I've got some basket things, and I keep some of my metalworking power tools in there. All my angle grinders stay down there, and my portaband, I use it quite a bit, breaking down material when it's cold. When it's warm, I just roll the door up and have the chop saw outside and touch stuff back and forth. But I don't use the chop saw in here. The angle grinders, I get the angle grinders with the disc or stone on them that I'm going to need for a job out when I'm doing the job. Also, my new roller is down here. Just got this thing. It's a Harbor Freight roller. I'll do a video on it pretty soon. I want to kind of master it a little bit. But my welding table, it's kind of frail. I kind of slapped it together out of some scrap. I've got full intentions on building a larger one with a thicker top, either 3/8 or 1/2 inch. And but it's not going to be a full 4x8 because of my current space. So it's probably going to be something like a 6x3, and then I'll build a 2x4, 2 foot by 4 foot table to go somewhere else. And probably when I get that big 6x3, well, big for this space, table built, I'm not going to put a vise on it, my big 6-inch vise. I'll put it on the 2x3 table that I'm going to build, and then this one I can use wherever, maybe at the, I don't know, wherever. Okay, now this looks like organized chaos, and it's actually a misconception. It's not organized at all. That's a lot of scrap material piled over there. That's my small bandsaw. I've done a video on my little bandsaws. This one stays at 45 degrees. I do a lot of fabrication work where I need 45-degree cuts, and so that one just stays at 45. And across the way here is my other little guy, and it stays at 90 degrees. And then there's my bellows. I found that in a barn not too long ago, and it's kind of neat. I've got when I get a bigger shop, I will definitely hang that up. I'll try to restore it and hang it up, but now it's not leather, it's canvas, and it was used some in the more modern times because it has some plywood on it. I don't know how long plywood has been around, but anyway, it has been repaired with plywood, so I thought that was kind of neat. But I'm kind of shooting from where you normally see me standing at. And you can see my welders over here. Well, my wire welders. My under this tablecloth here. This is my 110. It's a Miller 140, or I'm sorry, 130 Millermatic, and that was the only welder I had for a long time, and it went down on me. I bought it used, and it went down on me, and that convinced me that I needed 2 welders just in case. So I picked up a Hobart 190, which is a 220 machine, and I've had really good luck with it. So there is that. There's my anvil tree, and one of my wire wheels. That's a stand that I made specifically for that little grinder. I've had that little grinder for 20 years. It's some no-name grinder I got at a place called J&B Discount down in Ducktown, Tennessee. That's not, I burned the place for insurance money or something, but I just keep 2 different size wire wheels on it. And I used that thing for years before it became the wire wheel grinder. And then these are anvils that are in the works, or I did a video on my big Fisher down there, which is apparently an 1870s Fisher, and it is 175 pounds, and then that's more than 100 pounds. That's like 120 pound Fisher on top of it that belongs to a friend of mine. And then I've got my Southern Crescent, which was made in Chattanooga, Tennessee, sitting on top of it. And then that is Jewel, my oldest daughter's anvil on top. It's a little anvil shaped object, cast, 55 pound, but it's American made, and she gets out here tinkering around. But she's getting where she's going to be needing a real anvil pretty soon. Well, this is where I did all my grinding until I got my big grinder, and that's just a little 6-inch bench grinder and a little 1x30 belt sander. Like I've said, if you ever want evidence that I am not a bladesmith, that's my belt sander. There's your evidence. But I've got a shelf there with files, different files on it. That is a pile of odds and ends. There's a lot of tool steel in there, various things, but just, you know, just a big pile of scrap and junk. Now behind my grinders, there's punches, chisels, slitters, things like that. They're all painted orange. And then I keep my spare wheels for angle grinders and belts and things like that. I order the disc for angle grinders from a place called Lee Valley Abrasives. It's a lot cheaper that way. I order about $100 at a time, and that'll last me, you know, 7-8 months. And okay, like a flap disc is $2 from them, whereas it's $5 from the hardware store, the box store. But moving on around here, see, there's some, I've got a show coming up. There's some product. There's a empty shielding gas bottle. I keep I've got 2 shielding gas bottles. I need to get another one, but I that way I don't like to run out on the at times when I can't get more. So that way I've always got a backup. There's the forge I'm using right now. I've got a couple more forges. They're kind of stored because I don't have room to have them out. That is a Majestic forge, and it's been deteriorating since the day I got it, but I'm going to use it until it falls apart. They get hot, but it's not professional grade, so it is what it is. There's one of my switch blocks. My quench tank is a beer keg, the best quench tanks you can get. You don't have to worry about, like wood, you've got to worry about it keeping it swelled and stuff. You don't have to worry about anything with these. All my magnets and crazy welding clamps and stuff kind of stick to that pole. This is my chop saw. Doesn't really have a home. It moves around because I don't use it in here, so it gets carried outside. I'm going to build a rolling stand for it, and then here's the vice stand, which is currently useless since Craftsman makes crap vices now. So it's currently viceless until I get a nice vice and put on it. This is my power hammer. I have plans to get a larger power hammer. I'm looking at a 50-pound tire hammer. This is a new style, Little Giant, 25. Until this year, it was still running the big leather belt on the back and the original motor. The motor went out, and it's apparently impossible to find anybody to work on motors anymore. So I ended up having to order a new motor, but it's run great, and I'm running a regular belt, like an automotive belt, V-groove, is that what you call it? But if you are, if you want to be a blacksmith and you want to make money, you're going to need a power hammer. It's too difficult to do things, even if you just use it for tapering. And this hammer is limited in what it can do because of its size. It's a small hammer. I don't have any tooling I can use under it. My dies need to be dressed horribly, but just with the fact that having it to do tapers with will save you. So power hammers, very important blacksmithing tool. Okay, this is my big ugly grinder, and this came from my mentor's sale, his estate sale, and it is the grinder that we used in his shop every day. And when he bought it, it had on the back, this is a bleach bottle used as a cover on this old motor. I mean, this thing is just ramshackle and hodgepodge, but it's a great grinder. So I have no complaints about my grinder. And because it wasn't, he had several grinders there that we never used. Big pedestal grinders, big 220 pedestal grinders and a 3-phase grinder. And boy, they sold high, but this guy right here went, the one that we used all the time, the best grinder in the shop, went for $50. So I was tickled about that. It's my drill press. It's a rigid. Bought it new. Had it for 8 years. Never had a problem out of it. It's been great. It will go all the way down with the table. So, but never had a problem with it. This is the shop computer / crap pile area. This is where I make all the videos, and I'll have either like Pandora playing, music streaming, or a documentary or something on. I've got like a spaghetti World War II movie on right now. But this is where I do all the videos and the editing and everything. This is my new stick welder that I have far from mastered. It's I got a really good deal on it. So a buddy of mine has helped me. I'm picking it up a little at a time. It's not something, I wouldn't weld on anything that wasn't mine right now. This is definitely a work in progress. But this cart, this cabinet that it's on rolls. It's got casters on it, so I can roll it over to my 220 plug and weld. I'm going to build an extension cord for it eventually, but I want to make sure I do that right. I don't want to half-ass that. Cabinets up here, keep spray paint, finishes, things like that. That's Jules welding helmet, extra bandsaw blades. It's my emergency welding helmet, extra chop saw blades. This is my hammer and tong rack. I've shown this a couple of times. I don't use every hammer on here regularly. Some of them I barely use. Some of them you can see got a good go of dust on them. They just don't get used much, but when I need them, they're there. Tongs, the ones I use the most, like from here up on this side and from here up on this side, are the tongs I use the most. And it's just the material size that I normally use. So keep those around. But that's that. Over there I've got some more oxygen. There's some acetylene running around here somewhere, extra bottles for the torches. This is my daggum table saw. It's a nice granite topped rigid table saw. It's a great table saw, but it's under a pile of scrap right now. I've been working on that. That's what the Tales from the Scrap Pile is all about. My wood chop saw back there in the back. I've got all my woodworking tools are just kind of crammed in that corner. There's a planer and joiner and a bunch of other stuff just packed back there because I do not have room for it right now. But I do woodworking as well. So up top of that shelf right there, that's my wood planes and hand woodworking tools are all up there. I'm sure they need a good dusting and oiling. Okay, this is my big bandsaw, and I don't use it every day, but when I need it, I need it. And right now it needs me to stop being lazy and pop rivet and put some of the doors back on it. Got this at an auction, and when it was being moved, the move wasn't kind on some of the aluminum pop rivets, so I've got to put some of the safety doors back on, and I need to put it on casters. Everything in here really has to be mobile because when I get big jobs, I have to move stuff around. So that's, I've had people in some of my videos be like, hey, bolt that vise down, stuff like that. I can't. I have to move it too much. When I get my big shop built, don't worry, everything will be pretty stationary. But there's my other switch block, the main anvil, my Peterite that I use all the time. My workbench is a mess, but this will give you an idea. Now, keep in mind, yeah, I've got a homestead here too. So I've got other tools in here. That's my tool bag. I prefer a tool bag to a toolbox. Yeah, I just like being able to throw the tools for a job in there and being able to go. But that's mostly woodworking stuff down there on that end. And up top there, I've got a little bitty solar system here that I use to charge some batteries. It's kind of an experiment we're working on. My tape measures are supposed to all live right there, but usually about once every 2 days I have to stop and gather all the tape measures and put them back in the same spot. I wish I could tell you that my workbench was usually clean, but that would just be a blatant lie. That's a where did I get that? I got that vise 10 years ago at like Northern Tool. It's been a good vise, a little 4-inch bench vise. This is all my mechanical type stuff, and then the toolbox there is sockets and everything. But on my up top there, WD-40 PB blaster, stuff like that. All my battery operated power tools are up there. Also got all those boxes right there are gosh, let's see, I've got, you know, Forester bits, tap and die sets, silver and dimming bits, wiring tools, stuff like that. Just all the stuff you have in those plastic boxes like that. That's what's up there. Of course, toolbox over there, that's where I put all my jigs, or well, it's where I'm supposed to put all my jigs. They're scattered all over the shop. It's extra post vise over there I've got to do something with. Got to get a little more room. That was actually my first post vise there. And then down here under the forge, there's 2 vices that I'm working on, and 1 vise, that old Harbor Freight vise that I pulled off that stand. I'm gonna give to a neighbor, but got to get it over there to give to him. This is the stand that I use to hold the material in the forge when it's long. I can put it on that. And I guess last but not least, this is my post vise and stand. The post vise on a stand like this the idea came from my mentor. It's you can move them around. You do get some movement on them when you're doing some really heavy twisting, but you can do most things in it just fine because it's heavy enough. Well, y'all, that's it. That was the big shop tour. I don't, this is where I'm at all the time, so I'm not that impressed by it. But hopefully it gave you some ideas of stuff you might want to try, stuff you might want to totally avoid. But when I first started doing this, it is amazing how quickly I filled my space, just completely with tools, and it actually took years to build up this amount of tools. This didn't happen overnight, but it just seemed like that. As your skills improve, you start finding tools, you start discovering tools you didn't even know you needed. So, hopefully this will show you some things that are out there. There's a lot of things that I want and feel like I really need, but I do not have the space for them yet. So, it is what it is. But I earn a living out of here and support my wife and kids and pay bills and all that good stuff. So, you know, it works. I got no major complaints about it. But anyway, if y'all have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, like the video, hit the like thing. That's beneficial to me. But anyway, 100 videos. Wow. Well, anyway, y'all behave yourselves.